Hey everyone, welcome to this Q&A video. I am so excited to be filming this for you guys because I picked the juicy questions, okay? I picked some good ones. I just want to be really real and have this chat with you guys. I feel like we haven't caught up in a while. I just want to catch up and chat. So if you guys are new, obviously subscribe down below and you can leave me a comment. I literally read all the comments. I just love reading all your guys' comments. It's so nice. And again, I just feel like we're friends and hanging out. So that's what we're doing today. And before we get into it, I have all the questions right now on my phone right here, but I wanted to remind you guys, okay? Your new favorite phone case is awaiting, all right? It's from xoxo.com, and you guys can use my link. As always, it's xoxo.com/Gretchen to get 20% off your new favorite phone case. If you didn't know, literally every single phone case that has ever been on my phone is from Casetify. They have all the best cases. They just have the cutest cases and they're so protective. My favorite one is this impact style case because it's so thin and doesn't make your phone too thick while being protective, you know? Sometimes the protective ones are too thick and not cute, but this one's so thin and it has military grade drop protection. Don't forget, it's called the impact style. That would be my recommendation because it has the little lip on the front, so even when you have the dreaded pavement falls, it doesn't crack. Literally drops over 6 feet, still protected. It can fall down the stairs. Mine have still protected. And I would do a drop test for you guys, but if you remember, the back of my phone's already shattered from before I ever had a case on it. Literally the day I got it, I shattered it before I got my Casetify case. So this one's obviously the custom one that I just did, the grid case. It looks kind of like my Instagram feed, and yeah, it's just really fun. So you guys can do that. I know you can customize it. I have so many with my name on it or my initials. There's so many different fonts, so many different colors. Literally, the world is at your fingertips. The world is your oyster. What's that saying? There's so many options on there, so many designs, like I said, and they just have the cutest collaborations with artists and everything like that. So again, it will be linked down below. Go check it out if you haven't already, if you have been living under a rock, and you're gonna get 20% off. So without further ado, let's get on into it. This first question is actually from my friend Amy. She said, how is your new place? What have you been up to? So thanks, Amy. Miss you, girl. And basically, my new place is good. And it's really different. It's definitely a big change of pace. Life is changing pace. It's slowing down a lot, if that makes sense. And I knew it would be just from moving from the heart of a city, the heart of Boston, to a suburbs in Pennsylvania. I knew it would be very different, and it is, but I was sort of ready for that change and I'm grateful for it. I just feel there's pros and cons for every different sort of area that you could be living in, a city or suburbs or whatever. I feel sometimes my words come out not how I mean it. There's pros and cons to your living situation, and if it's a city, rural, whatever. And I think I was just ready for this. It's funny because you always want what you don't have, right? In the city, I love the convenience of being able to walk everywhere, but I would find myself being oh, I miss going for a drive, or going to drive to get groceries or get coffee. And now that's what I do, and I miss being so close to everything and being able to walk. So yeah, obviously there's pros and cons, but it's been really good. And what was the rest of her question? Oh, what have you been up to? Funny you ask, because everyone would like to know. My friends and family are so what do you do every day? And I'm yeah. But no, it's been so good. Obviously been settling in. Whoa, today is the last day of September. So wow, we moved September 1st, and I feel our apartment is almost all together. It's also funny saying if it's an apartment. I'll talk about that. It's confusing. Apartment, house. It's not a house, but I feel it's an in-between. Yeah, I've just been getting it all together. Our furniture has been coming, decorating, stuff like that. We're still waiting on our main couch for our living room because the one in there right now is actually gonna go right in here, and I'll film in here. That'll be fun. By the way, isn't this good lighting in here? I really like the recessed lighting in our place. Good lighting is so important to me, so I really appreciate that. But other than getting our apartment together, I just feel there's a million little things when you move, and when you're, just moving into a new place, you have to set up everything and blah, blah, blah. So I've been doing that. Obviously, playing with Brody, hanging out with him a lot. I posted an Instagram story yesterday, how do I get anything done with you? I literally don't. No, I do. But it's tough, and I obviously love hanging out with him. We go on our long morning walks. That's our thing now. It's our little little routine, and then he's like so tired from them, and I get to get a lot of work done, and we'll do our training and everything like that. And I'm gonna talk about that. That was a really long answer, but yeah, it's been good. Definitely an adjustment and a weird time to move to a new city, because I haven't really been going anywhere or doing anything. Like, I haven't been, obviously, I mean, I'm sure there are gyms or workout classes here that are open. I haven't been to any because like I don't need to, and I love doing yoga at home and like running around, and I chase after Brody all day. That's enough of a workout. So anyway, and then my friend Paige said, how do you like Pennsylvania? So far so good. Like I said, it's just a weird time to move to a new place. I feel like we can't really explore that much because of everything going on, and we just want to like be safe. And yeah, it's a good time for me to like sit at home all the time anyway, so that's what I've been doing. But I like it here. It is different. I'm like learning all the little differences between, you know, from living in New York and Massachusetts, now I'm in Pennsylvania. Like, I learned what tomato pie is, and I'm like, am I supposed to like the Eagles now? I don't think so. Like, I think I feel like a Boston girl at heart. Like, I feel like the Patriots. I don't know, but I'm adjusting. This is the real tea, okay? There were a lot of questions on this, and so I knew I wanted to talk about it, and I actually have talked about this extensively on my podcast. I really don't think, actually I was gonna say, I don't think I talked about this at all in my YouTube videos, but I have. And this is just, do I struggle with body image, body positivity, stuff like that? And when I've talked about this before, I'm positive of it, is when I talked about my like truth of lightweight rowing video. Ooh, controversial. Yeah, but I was just really honest on my experience personally and what that looked like for me struggling with body image issues during that time and to come after that in the future. So like I said, I talked about it on my podcast. I would definitely recommend giving that episode a listen, because it's like an hour long, and I do a deep dive into where I felt like my body image issues came from and how that sort of like progressed, what that looked like, and then ultimately how I overcame it. But do I still struggle with it? Heck yeah. I mean, I think it's something that you're always working towards, and it's a work in progress, and it like breaks my heart, but I'm sure that the majority of you are with me watching this, that I know so many girls, and I know males too. Like, I'm not trying to just like be like it's so hard for girls, but I would just say, I guess from like friends and like my personal life, I just know how many girls and like your guys' messages and people I meet in person, what I'm trying to say is I know how many girls do struggle with body image issues, and obviously it's so tough in our day and age, and social media and like beauty standards and everything like that. And I feel like, wow, this is like a long response, but I feel like we're moving to a better place where that's changing, and it's more like strong is beautiful, real is beautiful, that sort of thing. But I still feel like societal standards like pressure us to look a certain way and feel like we should be a certain way, right? So yes, clearly I still struggle with it. I feel like it's something that I always have to be mindful of, and this comes up again later on, so the short answer is yes. And I saw a lot of you also saying that you found yourself struggling more, hi Brody, struggling more with it during the pandemic, and I totally get that. I feel like any sort of internal struggles, mental health, I'm going to talk about that later on, anything like that you had going on can sort of be like amplified in times of like isolation and not being in your normal routine and not seeing friends and family, maybe therapists, stuff like that. So it can be really tough, but all I can say to that is what I'm gonna continue to talk about is that you always just have to be working on it, and I'm gonna talk about specifically what I felt like helped me, so maybe that would help you, because I'm trying not to like make all these answers way too long. This one I just wrote a bunch of dollar signs, because overwhelmingly I see this question all the time, and probably the majority of your questions just all has to do with money, and I'm like, whoa, this is personal, but you guys know I'm really real. So all the questions are pretty much like, all right, I guess specifically in my relationship with me and Max, right? So it's like, how do you guys pay for things? Do you guys like split the rent? Who's buying the furniture? Just like everything like that, like groceries. And I know, I'm sure you guys are just interested, like I saw people saying that they struggle with that in their relationship, or they don't know how to like divvy things up. And I feel like personally in my personal life, I've had friends be like, okay, so we like split groceries, but like he's a boy and eats way more, like what do I do, da da da. And I feel like everything is just like, in my opinion, every couple and every relationship is different, and you need to just have like an open conversation with that person, and I would hope that you would be comfortable enough where you could like let it all out on the table. And I feel like Max and I are that way. I'm like, hey, don't forget like the Venmo request or whatever. Or like just now, like we did a big grocery shop the other day and he paid, and like I still didn't Venmo him because I forgot, but like whatever. So what I'm trying to say is, for us specifically, in my mind, this is how I feel like it would be for most couples. I would say generally we just split everything. Like we go halvesies, 50-50, because yeah, that just makes sense to me because we're a couple. And I think people forget that Max has a source of income, that he plays hockey and makes money from it, because I don't know, I just feel like I sense some weird vibes. Sometimes people are like, oh, so do you just like pay everything? Like Max is with you for your money. Like I literally see stuff like that and I'm like, oh my God, geez Louise, people. No, like for example, that expensive ass desk right there, he paid for the TV, I paid for the coffee table. You know what I mean? Like we kind of, I feel like when we moved in, it's just, I feel like we just have a good grasp on it. Like we're just so comfortable and like open with each other that I'm like, I'm buying this, and he's like, okay, I'll buy the desk. Like we just figure it out. And in my mind, like we plan on being together forever, so I just never worry that much. Like I'm like, it's all gonna like work out in the end. And like he just spent like 200 whatever dollars on groceries, and like yeah, I should Venmo him half, you know. Like in my mind, it's just like, it's not that big of a deal, and it's like not worth really fighting over. Like obviously it's important conversation to have, like finances are important. I feel like I'm talking so quick in this video. I just don't want it to be too long because my Q&As can get chatty. I'm trying to be concise for you guys and look out for y'all's time, but for your guys' time. But yeah, that's just how we do it. Like rent, we split, we both live here, like 2 people live here, so in my mind it's like, let's just split it. I think that's like usually our go-to. Groceries will always split, that type of stuff. In my mind I'm like, ooh, this is like personal, but I could see why you guys would be curious, and especially like if you're in a relationship. Oh my gosh, you're not supposed to see that I'm in like comfy blue leggings. You're supposed to think I'm in a really cute like aesthetic fall outfit right now, and I'm really in like athletic blue leggings and a cute sweater to fool you. But yeah, that's that about money. I feel like I'm like forgetting something, but yeah, we both make money. We're both adults, so we just figure it out, and that's what I would suggest that you would do too. I mean, I guess I'm sure in some situations some people, like if you're in a relationship where one person has access to more funds than the other, or one person is working and the other person isn't, like actually maybe that's why I get so many questions about it, because in college I feel like people would be like, who's paying for everything? And like Max was playing hockey in college, he didn't have a job because that was like his job, and I was doing YouTube and everything, so I'm sure back then I would pay for more stuff. But like I don't think I've ever paid for my own coffee because he's always paid. So like little things like that, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, like he always pays for my coffee, and I don't even know what I do like that for him. Like we split groceries, whatever. Enough about that. This says, how are you / did you train Brody? So yes, obviously training him, I think it's in his best interest to be well trained, in our best interest, everybody's best interest. Like a happy, healthy, trained dog, good times. So how have we been training him? I would say first off that I think we got very lucky that we have a very well-tempered puppy. Everyone that meets him is so shocked. They're like, he is so calm, he like listens so well, he's so zen. So first off, I think I should like attribute some of it to maybe his breed and the type of dog he is, because I think Goldens in general are just very friendly, quick learners, because I tried to warn Max so much since he never had a dog. I'm like, I've had 3 dogs growing up, like it's not easy, and it's not, but you just have to know that it takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. And I think it's just doing things that I've learned from raising 3 dogs and listening to my parents and listening to everybody's advice that tells me, and we look up videos and stuff. But yeah, just training to like the best of our ability on our own. Like he literally walks into his crate. Like crate training I was so worried about, and I feel like with a little bit of our help it was so easy. And he gets tired at night and walks himself in there, and we close the door, and that's been so easy. He comes when we call him now, he sits, he lays down, everything like that. We're working on drop it. He's been walking really well, like overall really great. And I know that we're considering looking into a trainer here, which I'm sure we'll do just to like brush up on all the skills and like really cement them in times. Like what I worry most about is in times of, you know, when he's distracted, if there's like other dogs around, obviously he gets excited, or like guests over, I wouldn't want him to jump, things like that. So like more advanced, more important things I feel like we would work on a trainer with. But so far so good. I feel like if you get a dog, you have to train it. Like if you're gonna make the time to want the dog and have the dog, you need to train it, right? That's my opinion. So this says, how do you plan on making friends other than hockey wives and girlfriends? Whew, shots fired. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so obviously I feel lucky that, well, none of them are here yet because their season hasn't started. So it's just me flying solo, like alone. I do feel lucky though that they will be here. I feel like a lot of them are older and like married and have children and stuff. But obviously it's still nice that I'll have some gals here that I can like hang out with and make friends with. But other than that, I would say I'm lucky. You guys know, maybe you don't know, her name's Tori DeSimone. She does YouTube. She has a spin studio. She's not too far. And I'm like lucky that I know her and love her so much. So I haven't seen her yet, but I know I'll want to see her and hang out with her eventually. And I actually have two good friends, Amy and Megan. If you remember from my vlogs in college, I don't think they've been in my vlogs that much, but we literally met freshman year from rowing, and they are from Philly and live like outside of Philly. And so I have them, and yeah, I feel like I'm just friendly in general. Like I'll just like chat with someone at Starbucks. I'll make friends with my neighbors. Like I'll be fine. Don't worry. I'm literally like friends with you guys. I DM you guys. So yes. This says, are you and Max renting or bought the apartment? So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't want to say too much because people I already know where I live, and I don't want people showing up again because that was like a whole thing in the past. But I would say this is like in between an apartment and a house. Like it's not a house, but we do have like a little backyard and a garage, which is really nice. So I feel like those are not typical characteristics of an apartment. Anyway, yeah, so that's nice. What was the question? Oh, renting or bought. So renting, because I think in my head, like, I mean, who doesn't think about like buying a property? Like that's obviously something that maybe you'd always think about or like aspire to do. It's obviously really good long-term to invest in a property, blah, blah, blah. So it's something that I've always thought about, and with his hockey career and schedule in life, it can be so uncertain. So buying anywhere where he plays hockey probably doesn't make sense. I think rarely some people will buy if they know, though, if they have like a really long contract or something like that. But then again, you can like always get traded. Literally not gonna, I don't want to like put that energy out there because that can be really crazy. But yeah, so we're renting because that made the most sense. And I think I've talked about this on YouTube, how Boston just feels like home to me, and I've always thought that buying somewhere in Boston or like right outside of Boston would be like so up my alley, and that just feels like my home, and I would want to be there like permanently. But obviously like during the hockey season we'll be wherever Max plays hockey, and then in my ideal world it would be like I buy somewhere, we would be there in the off season, and then I could like rent it out while he's playing hockey. I know that's what a lot of his teammates do when they are families. So yes, in an ideal world. But this hockey season, like this year, is all crazy obviously with the pandemic, so it's starting way later. And we actually have a year-long lease on this apartment. I feel like, oh yeah, okay, so I was like, I feel like that's a question. How long are you living in Pennsylvania for? So it was always just gonna be, we were just gonna get a shorter lease just for the hockey season until like April, May, whatever. It was gonna end next spring, and my plan was always to go back in Boston for the off season, like this upcoming off season. And then with the season starting late and everything, we're like, let's just do a year-long lease here. We don't know what's gonna happen with next season, if it starts later, goes later, anything like that. We'll just be here for a year, like we'll figure it out. So that's what we're doing. But ideally in the future, I would wanna be in Boston in the off season, like I keep saying, because I love it there. This says, who is the messy one in the relationship? I thought this was funny. Me. And I hate to say that because I think I really like being clean and organized and everything like that, but Max just is like, innately, he is just so tidy and neat and organized and like a routine person, and it's really good for me to be around, honestly, because like I aspire to be like that, and it's hard for me to like answer this, or when people are like, oh, are you a planner, or sort of like go with the flow, and it's like I need to just be honest and like who I am deep down. I'm so like woo, like every day is different, like spontaneous, like I don't want to do the dishes, like I'm not cleaning my room, like party, like I feel like that's my personality, like deep down. But then I like crave being organized and planning and clean and tidy and everything like that. So I think for me, it's always like a work in progress, and I always have to like work on it, if that makes sense. But Max is just so, like, I remember when I first met him, this is what I would tell everyone when we like first started dating. I'm like, why are you folding your dirty clothes? Like, his dirty clothes would be folded on the ground, and I'm like, why did you just fold them now? I think they're clean. And he's like, oh, well, if I'm gonna put them on the ground, like, I would just like fold them anyway. And I'm like, this kid is like crazy. And like living with him, his dish like will not touch the sink. Like, he'll rinse it out and put it in the dishwasher, you know, like you're supposed to, like a mature adult. And I'm like, so I've learned a lot from him, and it's good for me to be around because he like pushes me to like be the best, clean, mature, responsible me. This says, do you ever think you're too dependent on Max? No, I don't. I thought this would be good to address because I feel like people can be like, oh, you're clingy, whatever. And I don't know where this like automatic like clinginess, too much time together, codependency idea comes from, because it's like you can be in a loving, healthy relationship and really enjoy each other's company and love spending time together, and especially if one of you works from home, be around each other a lot. I don't even think I would say that we spend a lot of like quality time together, like we do when we can, but a lot of times we're just like coexisting, or like, not trying to say we coexist, but like, you know what I mean? I'm in this room right now filming this video, and he's like doing whatever with Brody. And so what I'm trying to say is, I would say that I've actually become very independent. And I was just telling you before this video, I feel like living here, I'm even more independent, because I feel like I've just been doing my own thing, like in my own interests and hobbies, and like FaceTiming my friends and filming my videos and doing my workouts. And then it's like I see him after I prioritized me, which has been really good and a really good indication for me that I'm in a healthy relationship, because I feel like that's been off in the past, where like, wow, this is like going into a tangent, but I've talked about this before. So really quickly, just like PSA, if you are like carving out your whole day for somebody else and not prioritizing yourself, no, no, no. Like, you are gonna get after it, you're gonna get up early, you're gonna go do your yoga class, you're gonna do all your hobbies and your interests first, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get the gist. And then you have time for the boy or the girl or the relationship later on. Just thought we needed that pep talk quick, because I actually would say I feel really independent. And I was just saying to Max, I'm like, I don't need you, but I really enjoy spending time with you. Not like that, like I'd be really crushed if we broke up, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel so confident on my own and sure of myself and independent, and like I don't need a man, I just like a man. You know what I mean? Okay, this says, do you think working on social media is affecting your mental health? Have you considered stopping? Wow. Yes, I know it's affected my mental health to the point that it's, well, I guess not to the point that it's made me consider stopping, because I always try to like really, I don't know if this is phrase, dumb things down, make things simple in my life whenever I'm feeling like overwhelmed, or just like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on, or like I hate this, or like this is really stressful coming from social media right now. I always try to make things like really plain and simple for me, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I literally write down on a piece of paper, I'm like, I am so happy, I love what I'm doing every day. How many people get to wake up and say that they love what they get to do every day? And so I just like flood my mind with gratitude and being grateful. I sound like crazy right now, but like literally I try to make it that simple. And I'm like, I literally write down a piece of paper, I am living my dream life. Like, I'm being really personal right now, but I will say all those things because I truly believe it. And then I think that like reflects in how my day goes. And I'm just like, I love everything that's going on right now. I love my healthy relationship, I love where I live, I love my dog, I love my family, I love what I get to put out on social media and YouTube. I love being so open with you guys. I love connecting with each and every one of you. I love everything that's going on right now. I love everything. Okay, I'm not gonna get into every category. But then when I'm on social media and things will be put into question, or people will be really nasty to me, and I get hate and negativity and stuff, it can be really discouraging, and it can really bring me down and make me sad, and it definitely affects how I feel about myself or how I feel about my content. And I don't think it makes me consider stopping. I think it makes me consider being less open, which I hate, because I like pride myself in being so real with you guys, and every single time I meet one of you, you're like, wow, you're literally the freaking same in person as you are online, which is like the biggest compliment to me. So it doesn't really make me consider stopping, it just makes me consider like, oh, Gretchen, like maybe you shouldn't share so much. Like, this is why people, like if you're sharing like personal experiences or opinions, like people can pick at that and it can like bother you, but at the end of the day, I would say it's more positive than negative, so it's like all good. And I could see how being on social media could affect people's mental health with how they feel about themselves, and again, like comparison, and I definitely get caught in that, but I just try to remind myself that, like, be honest with myself that that's happening. Like, why am I feeling this way? Oh my gosh, I'm like comparing myself to this girl on Instagram. Can I just like close Instagram, put away my phone for a second, and realize like everything that I've good going for me in my life? Like, I don't need to be a size 0 anymore, like all of those type of things, going back to the body image. So yeah, it could definitely affect my mental health that way, but I just try to be really like cognizant that that's what I'm thinking in my head. And I think other than that, just like the really negative stuff and like nasty stuff sometimes about really personal things can hurt me, and like my friends won't even believe it half the time. I'm like, can you like even believe what this person freaking said, whatever? And they're like, I literally can't believe people like take the time out of the day to do that stuff, but I guess I do. So that's when it can affect me, but don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. This said, how did you grow your healthy relationship with food while in college? So I'm actually filming a what I eat in a week video this week, so I felt like I was like, I have like deja vu. I felt like I was just saying this in this video, that what I feel like helped me so much honestly is being around friends and family, and like specifically Max. Like in my mind, just for me personally, seeing a lot of males in my life, I'm like, wait, why do girls make it so complicated? Like they have to eat a certain way, or like this food is good and bad. Like no foods are good or bad. Some are probably just have like better health benefits than for you than like chocolate cake. Do you know what I mean? But that probably has benefits too, like making you happy. So it's like, it's all about balance, people. But I felt like in college, you see a lot of unhealthy eating habits and things going on, which I definitely saw my fair share of, like the people who like wouldn't eat before they would go out, or just like crazy stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of that's normalized in college, which I do not appreciate. But like I said, what I think helped me the most is being around friends, family, Max, his friends, whatever, that I felt like had such a good grasp on it. And they ate when they were hungry, didn't eat when they were not hungry, ate whatever they wanted whenever they wanted. Like it was just really simple. That's like what I was saying before, like when you dumb things down and simplify, that's a word, things for yourself, you're like, wait, I'm happy where I am right now, everything's good, I'm okay. Or simplify things, like instead of thinking about the food thing too much, like, am I hungry right now? Yes, okay, then I'm eating. What am I eating? Whatever I want. I want a turkey wrap, cool, I'm eating a turkey wrap. Like, you know, like check the box, we're good, moving on. Instead of like, ooh, I don't know if I should eat, like, but what if like I don't look good in my jeans? Like, no, if you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. I'm just trying to like make it simpler in my head like that, and that's helped me. They said, are your surrounding neighbors young or old? And I thought that this was interesting to put in here because shout out neighbors. I would say that generally our neighbors are older here, which we like didn't know what to expect, but it's actually really nice because they, I feel like, are so quiet. Like we never hear noise, and yeah, I just feel like they're a lot older than us, but they're really sweet. And a lot of people have dogs. For Brody, you probably just heard him bark, and he gets to mingle with other dogs. So yes. Last question, what do you miss most?
Brody. Okay, come on.
My last question is, what do I miss so much about Boston? Or what do I miss about Boston? In my mind, what I miss so much about Boston is that it just feels like home. Obviously being in college, I talk about how I miss college all the time, it being with friends. And yeah, just the fact that it literally feels like home, and the city just has like so much, obviously, memories for me and so much meaning. So yes, that's it for this Q&A. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.